Welcome, everyone. Wayne Galante here with Z-Pro Solutions. I'm joined with my colleague, Stefan Oberthor, and we're happy today to join in on a conversation on the evolution of asset management. Some of our discussions will take us to the world of the Maximo Application Suite. Some of our focus today is going to surround strategic asset management, and in between, both my colleague Stefan and I, we're just going to share some thoughts on where we've been with enterprise asset management, what we're seeing today, and if the world were your oyster, what would we like it to be over the near and longer term? But before we get into all that, I'm going to give my colleague here, Stefan, an opportunity to introduce himself, and then I'm going to tell you a little about myself, and we're going to get right into it. Stefan?
Thank you very much, Wayne. I am very happy to have this chance to talk in this podcast about this topic that Wayne introduced quickly. I am Stefan Obertür. I am also with Z-Pro Solutions, and I have 70 years plus experience in the RUMS area, working within the transportation industry and power industry. During my last projects, I was involved in leading RUM teams and design build projects for railway programs. And so I would like to share here my experience in order to connect RUMS engineering and the EAM implementation in an organization, which challenges we will see or what we have seen so far.
And thanks, Stefan. That's quite a background. Very impressive. So just a little about myself. I started with New York City Transit, MTA, during that 80s show. And I spent 31 years with the organization. And I did have the opportunity to spend time and to grow in both the division of car equipment, subways division, and in the bus division. My time in both, I had some tremendous opportunities to be engaged in some interesting transformative programs, ranging from maintenance protocols, becoming engaged in your traditional RAMS work, that being your reliability, your availability, your maintainability, and your safety work, and also covered a wide variety of training programs. Some of those applications we implemented across the agency. So it was an interesting run with New York MTA. And during my transition into the private sector, I did join an engineering consulting group. And since that time, I've now joined, happy to say, Z-Pro Solutions. And I'm in the role of their senior transportation subject matter expert. So I mentioned I spent some time at MTA, New York City Transit. Just to share very briefly, early on, I was in the division of car equipment in the 1980s. And at that time, there was basically some significant confusion, some disarray on how to we get to what we term today that state of good repair. As we press forward with our plans to improve subway car reliability, we learned a few things, right? You always learn a few things along the journey. A big part of what we learned was that it was necessary to understand that how we get to a state of good repair really has to do a lot with defining the organization's ways of doing business and engaging change management in a number of core business or fundamental key areas. And that just wasn't within our own department, right? It was top down, bottom up, and to be quite frank, just across the agency. We did find that defining and memorializing, if you will, was critically important to validating running repairs and inspection protocols. And in that process, where we clearly delineated every step of what needs to be done, how to achieve those repairs, we needed to understand the equipment's life cycle step, and critically important. And to do that, in large part, we understood that both the assets and the supporting infrastructure over the near and longer term, a lot of what was going on with them was based on time and mileage. So our journey began, and eventually we witnessed unprecedented improvements in the MDBF, or what's termed the mean distance between failure, and just some great strides made in safety metrics. Those metrics improved for the employees, the customers, as well as the safeguarding of the equipment as it was experiencing what I'm going to term less catastrophic failures on the road. If we sum it all up, I'd say welcome to Strategic Management 101. All in all, it was an interesting journey. I could say the key takeaway, if I was going to share something from those experiences, if I had to share anything with everyone that's listening today, is that when your team is going through a process like this, an involved process, an incredible undertaking to transform the agency, yeah, I think you have to accept that you don't have all the answers. That should just be intuitively understood, and you don't necessarily also know what the questions are to ask. That's why it's so critically important, Stefan. It was just like we were laser focused on understanding we had to engage all the stakeholders. That just jumped right at. And by that, I mean, you had to talk to the car builders, the subway car builders. You needed to talk to your suppliers. And you had someone doing overhaul supplying on that. You needed to get them involved as well. But we also made sure to get our in-house capital and operating budget folks involved. And just as significantly, IT and procurement teams. So it was everybody. And beyond that, we also realized we needed to talk to our peers in the industry because they were seeing a lot. We were seeing a lot at that time. There was an understanding across the industry that things had to change. We formed a regional rail car consortium, brought us all together. We exchanged ideas. We found out that maybe some of the vendors weren't communicating the same message to all of us. An interesting perspective on that. Learned a lot about different details of how different agencies operate. And although we always build ourselves as the biggest ship in the shipping business within transit, we learned a lot from our peers. And that was just a great experience. So with that, Stefan, let me give you the opportunity to weigh in on this one.
Yeah, this was already a very, very comprehensive explanation of the first question, Wayne. Thank you very much for this inside views. So what I see also when we perform our projects and we go to our clients, the main challenges is for existing structures, the transformation to a running asset management system in the organization. This is always a key part where the correct planning must be performed and the decisions must be into place before the program is implemented. So a different mindset must be trained also to the personnel. I think this is also very, very important. Sometimes also employees are resistant to new technology. This is also a challenge that we see in a lot of projects and where we have to provide countermeasures and features of the tool must be understood very good. So training must be also provided because then when they don't know the tool correctly, also they can underperform the features of the tool. So this is also a challenge that organizations face. And then it must become to familiarize with these new applications where also we, Z-Pro Solutions, can provide this 24/7 support during the first period when the system is implemented. So clients get a lot of questions after the installation and implementation of the tool when they use it for the first time in real service. So this training program often only a start to understanding the tool. During the application, real training begins and can be seen as a burn-in phase for the users. So this is what we see often in our projects and our implementations of the project.
Absolutely.
That we need to be there after the implementation of the project.
Critical.
So this is a critical point that
Excellent.
we don't need to forget.
Thank you for sharing that, Stefan. You reminded me of a few things I need to pay attention to too when we're discussing these topics. A lot of insight there. Thank you so much, my friend. So, on to our next subject is the rise of digital integration. Uh, they're looking for us to talk about the role of database transfers in modern asset management. What are some of the benefits and the challenges posed by digital transformation? And this is really a great topic. And the way I see it, one we really need to pay attention to today. And I say that because I had a conversation recently with a colleague of mine, and I said it's almost it's astounding. We walk into work with this device in our hand called the iPhone or our Android device, right, Stefan?
So handheld devices.
Handheld devices, or even our mini computer or the iPad in our bag. And these things do absolutely incredible things for us, right? They do our personal finances. They get us the just a wealth of knowledge on any repairs on the house. We want to take a trip. We got 8 sources who we can go to.
They give us already real life data.
Real life data, right? Wow. And from all those thousand points of reference out there. And it even tracks your pets, right? If you're a pet lover, I know we got the birds, we got the pooch inside, you got the tag on them with if he gets lost, we're right on it, right? But what is the challenge for us then? Where am I going with this? This really ties to the theme, and it's a big challenge with technology at work and on the shop floor at times, is that with the rise of digital integration, this incredible transformation in our private lives that we see not always taking place on the shop floor. If we're honest, and we go to visit our clients and we see that everybody's walking in, they just got out of their vehicle that's told them everything about how they've charged and what they've done and what the rate is. And we come into work and like it's left at the doorstep, right?
Yeah.
And that's really the challenge. And the opportunity, I think, is here now to take advantage of everything that Maximo and data asset management has to offer if we can get those handheld, ease of use devices into the hands of the professionals on the shop floor. Wow, what a benefit that would be to be able to develop, and this is a term, Stefan, I know you'll love it, to develop and populate that live, timely, enterprise-wide, credible data, right? That's where we're going with this.
I would dare add also to use this term maintenance 4.0, what everything is talking about at the moment.
Mhm.
And Maximo or the asset management tool can be the connector of this new technology and the tool for the users to get this into the real life.
Absolutely. And as we were talking about before, when we were prepping for this, we talked about as much as there's going to be that great opportunity, unfortunately, we know in the workplace there will be some pushback, some for reasons that not everybody wants to go with the schedule of the implementation, fears of losing data. Do we run parallel systems? How do we make this work and not lose the gains we've already made? Some of it's going to involve needing to renegotiate with labor contracts,
We
right?
will come later to these topics,
Yeah.
challenges
Yeah.
for the implementation of an asset management tool.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be very interesting to talk about it in more detail about it after.
Absolutely.
It's a very important topic.
Yeah. So, but the key is we're at that point where we can see it delivering timely, credible, enterprise-wide data to the shop floor.
The technology is available
App,
today,
yeah.
and it's at the beginning, but it will be involved in the future more and more.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Go ahead, Stefan. Yeah.
for this, I would like to add like that in order to make this digital transformation also for the industry, for the railway industry, which now starts and now we're coming also in the shops into this transition from the to the digital transformation. So today, IoT sensors, telematics, and sort of data collections helps to get real-life data to a control center or to a maintenance center where this data can be used for decision-making processes. that data position, a data process. So also for safety critical assets in order to monitor the health or for diagnostic purposes. This is already there, and now we only need to connect the dots with a good asset management tool that the data can be used. And this is the future that we can see, and the industry goes this way. So it is very important also now all the terms that were developed in the past as condition-based maintenance becomes a real-life application, especially for system and items that enter into the wear-out phase. So integration is measurable. So these are very good aspects and very important aspects that can be now be applied to the real life, to the transportation maintenance strategies. And this is for me as a RAMS engineer, a very important and very interesting field to work. This I wanted to add to here.
Great points, all, Stefan. Thank you for sharing that. And I think we're going to go to our next subject matter. It's all about Maximo as the game changer. Stefan and I, we're just going to share some of our personal experiences with the Maximo platform, some real life implementation applications, case studies where we've seen Maximo make the difference. I know you're going to talk, Stefan, to this, and I'm going to let you have the opportunity to run with this one first.
Okay, thank you, Wayne. So we will now show a bit of the architecture, how Maximo can be this enterprise-wide solution, which every agency or company is looking for. So because the data must be available, the data must be collected in an efficient way and a safe way. So we have here, I think, three main parts that must be connected, and Maximo is able to handle all of these. At the one end, we have the sensors that can collect the data, or we have the maintainer that can collect the data. This data must be transmitted somewhere to the Maximo application tool. So we have in the middle also a cloud service, which is more and more important because this connection, IoT sensor or handheld devices together with the cloud, and then the data is transmitted to the Maximo desk application, for example, where maintenance engineers or decision makers can make or can analyze the data. So also Maximo is able to analyze data due to given parameters or to given limits, and can provide also alerts. So that can send also out to handheld devices or to a desktop application where decision makers can immediately react to this alert. So and emergency processes can start immediately. So this is also a very important and interesting point Maximo can provide about asset management control and maintenance applications. So mobile solutions will make asset management sufficient and is the only way to use asset management in an economical way. To bring down downtime during maintenance actions, to get immediately information to the right stakeholders. So this is what I would like to see, and the main point is that the data must be collected and the data must be available. So the reliability also of Maximo, the cloud architecture in the sensors, must be reliable. The architecture, this is one point, must have a very high reliability.
Wow. Just some great points there, Stefan. And what I'll share with the audience today is one of the downsides of working with a pro like Stefan is I think he just took away all my thunder and probably everybody else's too. I think he you didn't miss much there, Stefan. I don't think anything at all. Thank you for sharing that. But there are just 2 points I do want to add on to the discussion today. Never missed on me that MAS 8 is coming, that Maximo Application Suite 8 is coming, and the iterations are just getting better. We're going to talk about that later with the abilities of the product. But what we've learned from Maximo so far is that with the complement, that full suite of incredible report generating capability, the cliche is user friendly, timely, available. It handles just incredible loads of information. That's all there. And when you're transitioning to MAS 8, it is a process, but you have all that history, that knowledge of utilizing this just really great product to get you to the next level. The other thing, and I'm going to give some props here to my colleague. You're working on a rail accelerator program right now, aren't you? You're customizing. So one of the nice things I learned from you working with you is how you're using the product to customize it in an application for the rail accelerator. And I don't know if you can go too far into that right now. We'll talk about it later. But specifically, I just wanted to make the point. Maximo, again, great. You walk in, you take the product, you use it, you run with it. Already you have there your report generating capabilities, right? But then the ability to integrate that into customized product work, and it's not a monumental task. When you're using the product, you've learned to use it and using it effectively. So just 2 points I wanted to throw in there, and hopefully you'll share with us later some of the things about that Rail Accelerator program as we get into that. So
that's true, Wayne. I can share now a bit of these insight, and the main point is that you can create automation features with Maximo, and every agency has its own way to operate. Some things are similar, other things are specific to the agency. So also when you have to develop specific things to an agency, you are able to create optimization process.
So
this
important.
Is all about Rail Accelerator,
right?
So you can provide already some predefined accelerators. That is what we are trying to do now, what we are developing now. And then when you talk with the agency about their special cases, then you can create customized Rail Accelerator.
Yeah, and that's just a great point you made there.
What we would like to offer to our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as much, because as much as we're all the same, every agency is a little different, right? We've learned that. We've all seen that. So that's great. We're going to wrap this one up, I think, and move on to our next topic. And with that, we'll just get right into it here. I think they want me to kick this one off first. Safety first, enhancing the safety first, enhancing the workplace environment. Something I'm supposed to know a little something about.
With your specialty.
That's my specialty. Okay. So how has technology? How has it improved employee safety measures? Well, where do we begin and end this one? Right, from onboard vehicle diagnostics, and I know you're going to talk about that. To wayside monitoring of smoke and fire conditions, the visuals and the audio's availability of information today, the timeliness of it, the ability to disperse it across the agency. What a game changer it's made in terms of the shop floor, in terms of understanding what's needed when you're looking at the trends and the data in a timely way. But what I really wanted to focus on this particular subject was the introduction of the battery electric bus. Great benefits from this product for our communities, for the environment overall. It's got world implications, right?
To improve the
air
quality, also for our kids.
Absolutely. But if we could define our world in a number, I think we have to reflect on the fact that with battery electric buses, we need to get a lot more and different types of information out and into the hands of the people that need it sooner than later. And that's one of the challenges. But again, with technology, as we go through the iterations, what we're seeing, the ability to deliver that in the depots, to handle the potential for those thermal runaway events with the data and the information technology applied to the infrastructure in house, on the road, on the vehicle, everything working in a cohesive way. That's one of the real the fundamental changes in our ability to see the safety improve across the board here. So when we think about safety metrics, we no longer think about shotgunning it, right? The shotgun approach. We can start thinking about really getting focused on by job title, implementing by job function, and let me correct myself. They're not thinking about it, doing it, right? Because that's what's out there today. So
this everything can brought up through the work order. So this is a very important point. The work order management can be performed efficiently through Maximo. And so you bring everything together. You have one tool for a lot of different applications in your organization. So you have the maintenance parts, you have the analytical part, but you have also the work order management part, where also you can select the skills of the persons. The person has to do the job. You know that this person has the right training program,
certification.
You will know when he needs a refresher course. This is also very important. So Maximo or the work order management can provide you this kinds of information. It can give you also an alert when this maintainer, for example, will have an expired work certification, so that he needs a refresher course.
And when the band shows up, as it's doing for the background dance here right now. So with that, just want to say, Stefan, thank you for those perspectives. And I don't think we can stress enough the impact on safety for the employees and the communities and the safeguarding of the equipment itself for the assets, which is an investment for the state, for the city, and for the community.
And I would like to add here something about also the personal protective equipment. This will be also part of the work order management process. So it is ensured that all the safety aspects are considered when the maintenance task is performed. I think this is also have also only for this. So you don't need to deal with different kinds of tools. Maintenance management, work order management, one.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow. Thanks, Stefan. Okay. Predictive analytics and proactive measures. We're going to discuss right now, you and I, Stefan, predictive analytics in maintenance planning. Metrics, when defined and planned appropriately, we know they provide the needed information. They can mitigate lost time and misspent focus. And they sure we're looking at the right places and at the right things for the trends before they create harm, right? So we can define the metric for what is truly important for everyone in the organization today by job tasks, and we know them by key areas of responsibilities. I know you're going to highlight for us where analytics and where costs have been saved with downtimes.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to add up front here on that?
Yes, I would like to add, for example, when we talk about analytics, we talk about asset management tool, is to have the assets and everything connected to it under control, which includes labor utilization, asset utilization, equipment purchase, downtime, inventory needs, and material cost and purchase labor. So everything is under the EAM tool Maximo, and this is the biggest point why we save money with this kind of tool, and why the organization will have a benefit to use this enterprise-wide asset management tool.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add on to that. My introduction to Maximo, what jumped right out at me is that, we always say information is power. It's true because with knowledge we can control our destiny, the destiny of the performance of our equipment. But the reality is, not that many years ago, we were in a scenario where we had specialized tools in application that we would apply in certain organizations and never really not quite hitting the mark, right? Gathering a lot of data, often not timely in being able to assemble that data and roll out the trends. There was always the lag. It was always the desire, the want to get to, quite frankly, where we are. Quite frankly, where we are with Maximo today, right?
Yes.
So that's to me is one of the big things, the evolutions, part of the progress working with Maximo with its suite of resources is being able to deliver on those predictive analytics to support the enterprise-wide data, that the development of it, the distribution of it, most importantly, the use of it in the right hands of those in the organization.
And
So I
to
just
collect the right data.
right. So clearly, again, mentioned this before, we're not just shotgunning it out. Defining, isolating, and like we're laser focused on delivering that information into the hands of those that are going to use it timely, and see the results of what they've done to change things up.
And also, I think what is important not to overcomplicate the asset management so that it's still practical for the user.
Thank you. That's a point. In fact, ZPro recently hosted Maximo World, and that was one of the points I know you stressed. And as we've been stressing all along, and we keep focusing on, is the delivery, the support, the development of timely, credible, enterprise-wide data delivered into the hands of those that can use it and use it appropriately.
So now I would like to give this example, Wayne, about how the organization also can save money about the asset management systems. Schedule regular maintenance tasks are based on usage patterns or manufacturer recommendations, keeping the system in a steady state region of the probability of failures in the useful life period. So this is the main part of the predictive maintenance, which means random failures are possible, but with its lowest failure rate level, which is approximately constant. So this is a theory about what the tool will work on. So for critical assets, this can be done by using analytics and sensors, for example. Random failures can be detected, and failure can be isolated more faster. And this means reduction of the downtime. So, which this was already implemented at different kinds of agencies. So they saved 5% of the downtime. And this is a lot of money over the years that an agency can save due to reduced downtime.
And those aren't one-time shots. That's ongoing, continuous. Yeah.
It's an ongoing, continuous improvement. So other points is when assets came into the rear-out phase. So the age of this component comes, or the useful life of this component comes to an end. So where degradation is then part of the system failures. So when we have some critical items, for example, degradation can be measured. So for these kinds of items, you can consider condition-based maintenance strategy. So this critical assets can stay longer into service, but you will know when the degradation starts. So you can plan when you would like to change this component, when you would like to replace this because of age or degradation. So everything this will save the agency a lot of money. So I wanted to add to this topic.
Good point. Good point to have in there. Good point to add. So we're going to talk for a little bit here, Stefan. We're going to touch on navigating some of the challenges. What are some of the potential pitfalls that we're thinking about in the integration of various asset data sources? Here we're going to talk about addressing industry concerns over data security, privacy, and reliability. You want to open this one up? Or you
Yes,
want me to
I can do that.
Okay.
And to bring here some bullet points or list points to this conversation. And we talked about earlier about this topic, so we came to this topic already. But what was observed during all the projects and the time working together with our clients was it started with planning. So one pitfall that we saw is inadequate planning. So misalignment with business goals defined clear is one part of this inadequate planning. So define clear objectives is so important at the beginning, and you must talk with experts to define these objectives. So then poor data quality is also a pitfall for the application of the EAM tool. So this can lead to inaccurate or incomplete data and to incorrect decisions. So the quality of data must be very, very good. So lack of standardization is also one point or one pitfall that you can see. So it means that inconsistent data format, asset naming conventions, and processes across departments must hinder integration. So this is also a very important point. And then also we talked about earlier overcomplication, trying to implement too many features that the staff is overwhelmed afterwards. They can't deal with it. So this will create more failures then it will help your organization. And then, for example, also, and this is also in a lot of projects, we know that in a lot of agency or railway projects, we know this budget overrun. So integration costs can escalate if not managed effectively. So we know all of this after 3/3 or after 3/4 of a project. There's no budget left, but a lot of work is to be done. So data security concerns. We will talk with this later. It's also a pitfall.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can touch on it now if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Okay. So our open data needs, our in-house needs to supply data, to make it available, to do what you were explaining with the equipment, the enhancements to the equipment during the integration of the various systems. It's great for the reliability. It's great for the safety. But the reality is that there's the potential there to open the door for those seeking to do us harm or having nefarious purposes in mind, right? So you brought out some great points with the reliability, and I'm not so concerned when we discuss this subject matter with reliability in the context of there's going to be open data, you're going to be supplying information. We can do that through spreadsheets on a dashboard and secure that well. But there is a concern I know out there with the integration process for the development when developing the telematic systems, how they communicate with the other systems within the system. Are we opening a door with this new technology that we haven't envisioned, and that someone, again, with nefarious purposes, seeing that we're not? So I know it's a responsibility seen by the agencies to be transparent, to provide open data. Again, we can do that. We can do it through a dashboard. And the concerns for me and for those that we've talked about this, not so much there, but with the actual integration of these systems. With new systems comes new challenges. And that's something, obviously, with the security system working hand in glove with IT, software and hardware side, to make sure that just doesn't happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
And this is important for the entire organization. Also, this what you mentioned, to open the door inside the organization to harm other systems.
And those can take any form. Those could
Yes.
be corrupting and sending out vile messages across the communication system. It could be tampering with the performance of the vehicle equipment itself, silencing or triggering alarms inside the facility where we work, in the communities where we're servicing. So we see there's a lot there to be concerned with. And again, the key, working with the IT department, following the protocols, working with the builders, using all the tools in the toolbox to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yes. Thank you very much, Wayne. Then I would also mention some other points or pitfalls that are, I think, very important to mention. Is for sure lack of training, user training, then also the vendor reliability. So selecting an unreliable or inexperienced vendor can also be a pitfall for the system, for the reliability of the system. And then insufficient maintenance also is a pitfall, because all the data, all the asset management system relies on data. So, and when you don't do sufficient maintenance or correct maintenance, and you don't collect the data, your system will be not, or will not perform as you would like, as it is supposed to be. So to avoid these pitfalls, organizations should conduct thorough research, involve key stakeholders, in my opinion, and plan carefully when integrating asset management. So on there, we are here in Positro Solutions. We are here and to guide our customers, our clients in this process.
Absolutely.
In order to avoid these pitfalls that we talked about.
Some great points there, Stefan. We certainly covered a lot with there. And anything else I'd have to add? I think at this point would just be refocusing, capturing what you've said already, and we've discussed. So we're going to move it on to the future of asset management. What are our predictions? Maybe everybody's interested in hearing what we think. What emerging technologies, what to watch out for, potential implications. Would you like me to kick it off, Stefan?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sure. So,
and I jump in.
Okay, sure. So today we all hear the term AI, artificial intelligence. It's permeated through every show that we see on technology. What's the impact of AI? What is that going to mean today, tomorrow, and what does it mean longer term? Incredible implications. And when I think about it with Maximo, I think about the history of Maximo, where it's been, where we're going with Mass 8, and I only see it getting better. I only see this as part of the solution, part of the support of making a great product. If there is an application where it does apply, even better, right? So that's where I think this is going. And I'm basing that in large part on just a few years ago. I think we could all agree. Some programs we received, it's as if you needed a PhD in that program just to run it, and then forget about sharing it with everybody else in the organization. That just wasn't happening. So not easy to use, not timely. Again, looking at the evolution of Maximo, this subject of AI, I think this is only going to make things better on a business side of the product itself, but also in the end user, those who are going to be using it. So I don't know anything you'd like to add to that, Stefan.
No, thank you very much. I think you covered everything. This is important to say for the future of the asset management tools. But I would like to reflect a bit, and I would like to show that additional information. And for sure, we both think this will be the future. It will be implemented more and more. Also, the FIA has now programs where they support the implementation of asset management. So everything everybody is aware about the efficiency of this new technology or the new way to do railway, to do transit. But in order to go further in the future, and I think here very important applications I would like to list here, which are important for the future way of asset management tools. And already there exist, they must be connected, and they must be customized with the agency, and Zippo solutions also provide this kind of service, most of them. So it starts with advanced data analytics. In my opinion, these are the trends and developments that are important for a successful implementation of an AM tool. IoT sensor integration is also important and also now a part of the MAX 8 Maximo world. Digital twins is also an important part, and more the application can be seen more and more in several industries. Blockchain technology for asset tracking. Also, we talked about security. So blockchain will be maybe also a way to get this security to an acceptable level for specific application. Cloud-based solutions. We talked about this architecture. So we will not go anywhere without a cloud solution.
Good point. Yeah.
Cybersecurity. We talked before. This is also an important part in the future. And mobile and wearable technology. So we have talked about everything here before, but here to put everything together, what is important for the future, I think these are the parts where it must work together with the asset management tool. So you can see the asset management tool more in the middle, and around this asset management tool, you have a lot of applications that must collect information, and the asset management tool is only the data collecting source and the data analytic and the analyzing tool.
Yeah, it all comes together.
And the decision making, it can give you, how I can say, it can give you facts due to data that was collected.
Right.
But at the end, the decision is made by the personnel, by the maintenance engineers, by the stakeholders, so by the human beings. The decision is made by the human. So it's a helping tool, very powerful helping tool.
Powerful helping tool. That key point. Yeah.
So in summary, the future of an asset management tool will be shaped by the technology advancements, sustainability concerns, data-driven decision-making, and focus on efficiency and security. This is what I think, and organizations that adapt to these trends and leverage emerging technologies are likely to gain a competitive edge in managing their assets effectively. So this I wanted to add to your points.
Stefan, greatly appreciate it, and I'm going to say the future is now. Bring it on, right?
Yeah.
We bring it. That's just incredible. Great place to be right now in transit with these tools, with the age of mass AI, as we discussed, and all the points that you hit upon. Let me say it again. Bring on the future. It's here now. Great stuff. Okay, so one of the other things we were going to do today, part of our discussion, Stefan and I, we were going to talk, as I'm often fond of saying, who am I to give advice? But we do have some advice for some of the young professionals out there, or let's face it, a lot of job transitioning today, right? People going into different fields. Some thoughts of ours, what we'd like to share in terms of career insights, tips, if you will, what we've seen, things we maybe if we went back in time, we'd do it again a little differently. So today's a forever learning experience, right? Work, home, in between. you get a refrigerator at home, and it's like you're becoming a programmer. It's making you meals for you, right?
Hybrid working.
Yeah. So but the key point for me that I wanted to make here is that life today, if we weren't aware of it before, it's an ongoing, continuous improvement process. Not only in our philosophy about the maintenance programs, right, but about our personal lives, what we are in terms of educating ourselves to be the better professional, and to be quite frank, marking ourselves to organizations, right, in certain roles, or if you're on the shop floor and learning how to stay sharp on your skills. I always like to point out that don't make the career mistake of focusing too heavily either on the technical skill set or the soft skill set. There's a place for both, right?
That's true.
Take full advantage of the training programs.
You say something very interesting.
Yeah.
So I focused more my past on the technical skill set. So I was more a technical person.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
But a few of these, we'll be on the Jimmy Fallon show before we know it, right? So there we go. Okay. One thing I did want to add, I'm going to put my trainer hat on here. One of the experiences I had in New York City Transit, became very involved both on the subway side and on the bus side, with training operations, the folks in the operations, probationary bus operators on the train side, utilizing different technology, introduction of new technology. And if you find yourself in a classroom or you're going in through one of these classes, these learning certificate programs, and you have a question, let me tell you what the instructor, what the person in the front of the room really wants you to do. They want you to ask that question. It's very possible maybe they didn't communicate what they wanted correctly. Maybe the subject matter isn't being delivered the way they thought it would be. But chances are, if you're thinking it, a lot of other people in the room might be thinking it as well.
Yeah,
so, point is, don't be afraid to ask questions.
That's often the case, and you see it in big groups.
Right.
So nobody asked the question because nobody would like to be, how do you say it? So
out in front, so exposed
exposed,
right.
out of front,
right.
That you sound silly.
Right.
But often it's a wide way to ask the question.
And how technology plays a role in all of this, since we have various products out there, whether we're taking public transportation, going on a day trip excursion, or if we have a car, we're in our vehicle driving around. They save me when I'm with my better half from being told, pull over and ask someone. So there you go. Technology at work, keeping Wayne safe and humble on the road. So I know that we're going to be wrapping it up soon here, Stefan. Any closing thoughts that you have about this little discussion we had today?
Wonderful topic.
Yeah. So, important topic.
Important, wonderful topic, interesting topic that brings so much together. So much together. In my opinion, as a RUMS engineer, for me, it's a perfect spot to work. So to have this RUMS engineer experience the theory, how it works, everything together, and then to use this knowledge in an EAM tool and use it for operation, to save an organization money with that.
Mm-hmm.
To implement it to the right assets, because not every asset needs a condition-based monitoring. But there are processes where you can select your assets and to save money or to spend your money correctly. It's a very interesting process. You can do also a lot of analytics to know your assets better.
Wow.
That is something incredible.
Yeah. One point I just wanted to share with everyone, and because we're talking about artificial intelligence, we're talking about technology, new ways of doing business throughout literally history. In our lives, we've seen people that have introduced ideas or products, and everybody looks at it. The majority of everyone looks at it and says, why are they going down that road? That just doesn't make sense. Hey, that's crazy, right? Somebody came up with this idea. not that many years ago about this device. We put in a handful of the mouse,
Yeah.
and look what that turned out to be, right? How useful. And some people looked at that at first in one company and said that'll never work. It doesn't make sense. They used the word. It's just not practical. Who would do that? They didn't like the term the mouse. And point being is that if you have an idea, you're seeing something that should be changed up, don't be afraid to think it out. Take, pencil to paper, get on the computer, do whatever you got to do, and then propose it. Take that chance. Be that person willing to go out and to make that difference with something new, something novel. History is ripe. We're talking about artificial intelligence now. With ideas just a few years ago, people said, "Oh, that's Star Trek. It's not going to happen."
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to take chances. It's all about being innovative. And just wanted to thank you, Stefan, as we close it out here, for joining me today on this. It's been real fun doing this with you. So that's it from
Thank you,
Wayne here,
Wayne.
and
It
from
was a pleasure.
Wayne Galante, Z Pro Solutions, and
Stefan Overture, Zipro Solutions, and we are happy to answer every questions. Yeah, it was a pleasure for us to be here.
yeah, thank you, everyone.